Okay, lesson 3.9 is about horizontal and vertical lines and how we create equations to represent these sorts of lines. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to take you through an example where we're going to graph one of each. We're going to graph a vertical line and we're going to graph a horizontal line, and then we're going to look at the equation that represents each. So why don't we start with our vertical line. So our vertical line, I am talking about, we'll look into this first example here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to graph these points in the table. Okay, so we're going to graph each and every one of these points. So my first point is at 1, -5. So 1, -5 is right here. That's my first point. My second point is at 1, -2, 1, 0, and 1, 4. So if you look at all of these points, every single one of these points has an x value equal to 1. Right? Every single one of those points has an x value equal to 1. Okay, so now that we've graphed those points, let's create our line by joining the points, of course. Okay, and then we add our arrow ends. Whoops, just like this. Okay, so there we go. We've graphed our vertical line. Okay, now what hopefully you noticed is that regardless of which point you pick on the line, it could be any point on the line. So let's just say I pick, this point right here. I know the x coordinate will always be 1 because it's a vertical line, okay? The only thing that changes is my y value, right? My x value stays the same, okay? So when we're writing the equation of a vertical line, it's written in the form x is equal to a, where a represents the line's x-intercept. X-intercept. Okay, we've talked about y-intercept, but let's talk about x-intercept. So the x-intercept is the point that your line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so what is the value of your x-intercept? Well, it's equal to 1, right? Our line passes through our x-axis at 1. So that is the equation of the line. I mean, I know it looks weird. Usually the equation of a line is in the form y equals mx plus b, right? That's what we're used to. But when we have a vertical line, remember, slope is undefined, right? So we can no longer express a vertical line as y equals mx plus b. The only way we can express a vertical line is with the equation x is equal to some number, okay? So let's talk about horizontal lines now. Don't worry, we'll get more practice, okay? So let's go to our second table here. And we're going to graph all the points here. Okay, so first point, -3, -4. So let's put that point down. -3, -4 is right here. 1, -4 is right here. 2, -4. And then finally 5, -4. All right, so let's connect our points and create our horizontal line. Just like that. Okay, now remember with our vertical line, all of the x coordinates were all the same, right? Constant, meaning they stay the same. Okay, well, in a horizontal line, it's our y coordinate that stays constant. So let's have a look at this. So for example, this point is -3, -4. We already know that. This point right here is 0, -4. This point right here is 3, -4, right? Every single point on that line has a y coordinate that is -4. So the y coordinate remains constant. It remains the same. Okay? So in this case, our equation for a horizontal line maybe makes more sense because we are used to y equals mx plus b. Okay? Now, we know that with a horizontal line, our slope is 0, right? Our slope is 0. So what we end up is 0 multiplied by x is just 0. We end up with y is equal to b. Okay? And that's essentially what we have here. Y is equal to some constant, some number, okay? Where A represents the y-intercept, right? B is our y-intercept. So the equation of this line is simply going to be y is equal to -4, because every single point on that line will have a y coordinate equal to -4. Okay, so vertical and horizontal lines cannot be expressed in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that's why I need to teach this to you guys as a separate lesson, just so we're aware and we know how to deal with these vertical and horizontal lines. Okay, so why don't we just practice? Because that was a lot of talking. Let's practice. Okay. All right, so let's look at question 1. Okay. So why don't we start off by just looking at some of the points that fall on the line. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pick some random points and I'm going to label them. So that's -4, 6. This is, -4, 0. This is -4, -6, right? So do you see how it's the x that remains the same? It's our x value that remains constant. Okay, so in this case, the equation is going to be x equals -4. That's the equation of this line. Every single coordinate on that line will have an x coordinate equal to -4. So that's it. This is it. This is my final answer. The equation of the line is x equals -4. Okay, let's try the next one. So again, I'm just going to start, it helps me understand better if I start to label some of the points on the line. Okay, so that's -6, 6. What's this here? This is 0, 6. This point here is 6, 6. Maybe I'll do one more point. That is 4, 6. Okay. So if you notice, this time it's our y. It's our y value that's staying constant. Okay? So the equation that would go with this line is y is equal to 6. Because any point on that line will have a y coordinate of 6. Okay? So when you have a vertical line, right, your equation is x equals. When you have a horizontal line, your equation is y equals. Okay, let's go through a few more examples. Okay, again, the easiest way to figure out is for me, or at least for me, is to kind of just label some of the points. All right, so this is 2, 6. This is 2, 3. This one here is 2, -5, okay? So I realize that this time it's my x value that's staying constant, right? So the equation of the line is going to be x is equal to 2, right? X is equal to 2. 0, comma 2. That's it. Okay, let's do question 4. So again, I'm just going to label a couple points on the line. So this is -4, comma -1. This is 3, comma -1. This is 6, comma -1. Oh, okay. Look, it's our y value that's remaining constant, right? So the equation of this line is y is equal to -1. Okay, so essentially, when you have a vertical line, you get x is equal to some number. When you have a horizontal line, you get y is equal to some number, okay? So these are special types of linear equations, right? Normally, when I talk about the equation of a line, you should think y equals mx plus b, okay? But there are special types of lines that we need to learn about. All right, so you know what? Why don't we just continue to work together through all these questions, okay? So let's look at number 5 here. So again, I'm going to just pick a few points because it helps me think. So that's -8, comma 4. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit for you guys. -8, comma 4. This point right here would be -8, comma -5. This would be, -8, comma -2, right? So we can already see that it's our x value that's staying constant. So the equation of the line is x is equal to -8. And that's our equation. Okay, our horizontal line. This is an interesting one. So it looks like our horizontal line is lying right on top of the x-axis. Okay, that's no problem. So again, let's think about what the coordinates of the points are. This would be 4, comma 0. This would be, -4, comma 0, -1, comma 0. This would be, 4, comma 0, and so on. So we can see that it is our y coordinate that's staying constant, right? It's always going to be 0. So the equation of this line is simply y equals 0, right? That's the equation of the line. Okay, let's graph a couple of these. Okay, so y is equal to -7. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find -7 on my y-axis. Okay, so that would be right here, -7 on my y-axis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure every single point I pick has a y value equal to -7. So for example, this point is 1, comma -7, 2, comma -7, 3, comma -7, right? So on and so on. So I know that my line is going to cover every single point. Oops, sorry. Rather use a straight line. So my line is going to cover every single point that has a y value equal to -7, right? So I mean, for example, that is 4, comma -7. This is 0, comma -7. This is -5, comma -7, right? Every single y value is -7. Okay. So let's do question 8. So now we have an equation where we have x is equal to 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find 4 on my x-axis. Okay, so 4 on my x-axis is right here. Now, if I want every other point I have on the line to also have an x coordinate of 4, then doesn't it make sense that I have to create a vertical line here, right? Where every single x coordinate on this line will be positive 4. Okay, that's good, that's good. All right, so the equation of this line, this vertical line, is x equals 4. All right, number 9. X is equal to negative 3. So let's look on our x-axis and let's find negative 3. So that's right there, okay? Now, I want to pick more points where the x-coordinate stays at negative 3. So I have to pick points that are directly above or below. So each one of these points has an x-coordinate equal to negative 3. Okay? Y equals negative 2. So again, let's find let's find 2 on my y-axis. And let's make sure that every other point has a y-coordinate equal to 2. So I'm going to have to go outwards this way. Okay, there we go, there we go. So the equation of this line is y is equal to 2. Okay, some more questions. All right, so 11, what is the slope of the line y is equal to 5? Okay, so first of all, is that going to be a horizontal or a vertical line? This is going to be a horizontal line. Okay, a horizontal line. Because if we want every single point on the line to have a y value of 5, we're going to get a horizontal line. Just like here we had y is equal to 2, and it's a horizontal line. If we had y is equal to 5, it would just be, that line right there. I'm going to erase that. Okay, so when we have a horizontal line, what is the slope of that line? Well, you shouldn't have to do any math for this, okay? You should know that it's 0, okay? 0 for a horizontal line, okay? Now, let's look at 12. What is the slope of the line x is equal to negative 2? Okay, well, first of all, x is equal to negative 2 gives us a vertical line. Vertical line. Okay. And so it is going to look similar to like this one would look, x equals negative 3, except it would occur at x equals negative 2. So a vertical line, the slope is undefined. Okay, there is no slope. There's no such thing as slope for a vertical line. Okay, so let's do that again. So 13, what is the slope of the line x equals 0? Okay, well, again, that is the same thing. It's a vertical line, right? So again, slope is undefined. Okay. Which axis is y is equal to negative 1 parallel to? Okay. What does the word parallel mean? The word parallel means that two lines are traveling in exactly the same direction. So two lines are only parallel if they're headed in the exact same direction, and they're never going to intersect. That's what parallel means. Parallel. Okay. So which axis, so the x-axis or the y-axis, is parallel to y is equal to negative 1? Okay. Well, y is equal to -1. Is that a horizontal or a vertical line? That is going to be a horizontal line. Right? It's going to be a horizontal line. So which of the two axes is our horizontal axes? Well, that is our x-axis, right? So for example, y is equal to -1. If you don't mind, I'm just going to use this grid here. So if I'm doing y is equal to -1, then I would get this line right here, okay? That's y is equal to -1. Whoops. Okay. And we can see that this line is parallel to the x-axis, right? This guy, right? The x-axis is parallel to our line, okay? So when we talk about parallel, when we have a vertical line, the vertical line is parallel to our y-axis, right? But when we have a horizontal line, it's parallel to our x-axis. Okay, last question. How does the graph of y equals 3 differ from y is equal to 3x? Okay. So this is important. Okay? So y is equal to 3. This is simply a horizontal line. Okay? Meaning there's no slope, or slope is 0. This is an equation line with slope of 3, right? And horizontal slope of 0. Okay, so that's the difference. All right, so here on the first graph, I'm going to graph y is equal to 3. So I find y on my y-axis, okay, and I make every single point have the same y coordinate. Okay, so there we go. That is, this line right here is defined as y is equal to 3. Okay, y is equal to 3x. Remember, normally lines are written in the form y equals mx plus b. So if we don't have a b value, what that means is that our y-intercept is simply at the origin, right? B is equal to 0. M is equal to 3, which means rise 3, run 1. Okay, so that would give us this line right here. Oops, sorry. There we go. So, oops. Okay, that's fine. So there clearly is a difference, right? This is y is equal to 3x, and this is y is equal to 3. So it's important that you guys understand, the difference, okay? So in this week's homework, oops, I didn't mean to do that. In this week's learning check, you guys are going to be graphing all sorts of lines. So you're going to be graphing, I'm going to give you equations in standard form that you're going to have to convert to slope intercept form. I'm going to be giving you guys vertical and horizontal lines to graph. So basically, this week's assignment is going to be all about graphing as well. Okay, so hopefully the topics make sense this week. Let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? Thanks.